we're talking about a predictability about the results. It's almost become predictable in these games now that Tavernier is going to have a really tough time against Maida for one reason or another. I didn't think his body language was great during the game, and maybe I'm nitpicking about things.
Scott, I think you're right. I think he's been like that all since the start of pre-season. I think anytime I've seen him in the training ground or when I'm pre-season with him or in the trips abroad pre-season, he's had that sort of look of a guy who has maybe just had enough, and you've got to feel sympathy for him because, you know, how many times does one guy have to go through this? I mean, he's I don't know what his figures are for Old Firm ones, but you know, I'd be stunned if he's in double figures yet, and he's been here for 9 years. So, I think I agree with you. I think that the thing you have to consider as well, and I totally agree with you. I think sometimes the criticism's over the top of him. I think he's been a terrific servant. I think there's times where he's led not in a sort of traditional Rangers captain way. I think he's led through his performances at times, but I think you're looking at a guy who's 31, 32. I think he's reaching that point physically where he's starting to decline, and you're asking him to try and perform the same job that he did 4 or 5 years ago when he was at his peak. You know, I just don't think he's capable of that. I think you're talking about there, was it time for him to depart in the summer? I think probably just in the same way that it was time for Connor Golson to go, because he was past his best, and I don't think Rangers can afford to have guys that are no longer operating at the top level. I think if Rangers get any aspirations to do anything this season, they have to have guys that are trying to get towards their peak. No, that are guys that are clinging on to their best form. And unfortunately for James Tavernier, it's just that, you know, he's played. This is maybe just the amount of football he's had. You know, okay, 32 nowadays isn't that old when you consider the ages that some guys perform to. But you think about the sheer amount of football that James Tavernier's played over the last 8-9 years at Ibrox, he's barely missed a game. So maybe all that's just catching up. He just looks to me a guy who's tired. He looks tired of getting beaten these derbies. He looks getting tired of getting laughed at by Celtic fans. He looks tired just begging. For me, he just looks like a guy that, you know, certainly just needs a break. He needs a break from.
There was a point, Gav. There was a point in the second half where Celtic got past him again down that side, and talking about his body language. I mean,
walk back. I seen that point. He
just gave it up,
and he just walked back. I've never seen him do that.
No, he just gave it up, and that's unlike him. Because one thing I will say about Tavernier, and Andy, you're talking about the beatings he's taken, and you're right. But one thing I'll say about him is he's always been there. He's always came back for more. No, he's always put himself out there. I don't think you could ever accuse him of hiding in these games or hiding in any game. And that's to his eternal credit. And I think it's one of his big strengths is that he has always been there. No, the guy that was never injured. No, he could have been. No, you think about the amount of games he's played, the amount of Old Firm games he's played. Could have easily sat a few of them out. No, with niggles or knocks or whatever. But he hasn't. But you're right. That incident on Sunday when he kind of threw his arms up and he just gave up on it, as I say, very unlike him. And that's the problem. Philippe Clement's trying to build this new young side. You think of some of the young boys that are playing, like your Barons and your Jeffties, they should be looking at Tavernier as an example, the guy that's going to lead them. And that wasn't a great look when you're losing an Old Firm game. If you're looking at him, just in that instance, no, I'm not saying it's a general thing with Tavernier, but just in that instance, how easily he was beaten, how easily he kind of gave it up. And listen, I think he's struggling. And getting back to your point, I think for the next Old Firm game, if things are the way they are at the moment, I would seriously think about Dujon Sterling at right back, or whether it's this Dutch boy that they've brought in on deadline day, maybe a bit more defensive. Something has to change.